Hey, welcome back. Got another one for you here today, regular video bourbon. Today is the 7th, but tomorrow's the 8th. I may not post this till tomorrow morning. If so, then tonight, the April 8th, Wednesday, I'm going to be doing a live stream with Keeping It Neat, and I'm going to put an info button at the top up here, and it should pop up right about now. Click on that, like and subscribe to their channel to get the notification. So got another bourbon for you today. I've had it, it's been a while, and I'm just total transparency with you. I know I normally don't look up the mash bills and all on these things, and I didn't, but I do know about the mash bill on this one already. So let's just get right to it. All right, we have Four Roses single barrel. This is 100 proof, bottled at 50% alcohol by volume. Gives a warehouse number JW, barrel number 18.3E, whatever that means. I don't really look up that stuff. It's got the little leather dog collar on it up here. But I do know, like I said before, I do know that this is a higher rye in the mash bill. I don't know the exact numbers, but I do know, as opposed to Four Roses small batch, which the small batch is a blend. This is a single barrel from a higher rye. So that's really all I know about it. So I'm certainly expecting the florals, the rose petal florals to come out for me anyway. Let's go ahead and pop, and you can see it's starting to get down there a little bit. Oh yeah. Let me pour you a little bit here. You can tell it's not a bad bourbon. We've been drinking it. So here's a little for you. And as always, if you don't drink that, you know I will. And pouring mine in the Bourbon Bounty logoed snifter. I won't call it a Glencairn because it's not a Glencairn glass. It is similar to that. It serves the same purpose. Man, that is good on that little drop. So, like I said, little higher rye, but we'll see if it comes through. 100 proofs, pretty good proof. The Tennessee whiskey review I did not too long ago, same proof. So let's see what this thing will do here. I do know that this is a favorite among a lot of people, but when we did the blinds, it didn't fare too well. I try not to put really heavy wheat bourbons against heavy ryes when we're doing the blinds. I try to pair them up where you get similar notes out of it. Wow, that's clinging around really well. But so does Four Roses small batch. I think Four Roses produces really good bourbon. So there we go. Yep, on the nose, I'm picking up that rye, and it's not a it's not a mind trick either. Just because I already know it, I would pick it up anyway. But I'm getting some good wash trails coming down and what I talk about when I say wash trails, that's I grew up around farmland and stuff, and we used to get like dirt mounds, and it would rain, and there was no grass growing on it, and you'd have these washouts. Well, these drops cling to this ring, this rim, that when I do the bourbon up like that, and then if it's heavier cling, you'll get droplets, and they'll run down it. It reminds me of those trails, those washout trails, and I just call them wash trails. But not necessarily you can see the color on it. It's a light amber, but I may not always talk the vernacular, but I'm just giving you what's on my nose and on my tongue. Other than that, I'm getting some light wood notes. Maybe some vanilla hiding in the background on that. Won't really know till I get it on my tongue, but let's go ahead and do that. Like I said, it's been a while since I've had any of this, and I have so many bourbons. I go through them and rotate around, but yeah, it's been a long time. I know I did the infinity bottle, and this is getting down now. I'm going to get it on down here before I add it to the infinity bottle, though. I'm going to enjoy a few more of these. All right, let's take a sip. Not hot at all. It does not drink hot. I'm not getting a lot of singe. Getting some warmth back here, but again, first sip of the day. Let's not go off that. But I will say I had some apple in that for sure. So let me take another sip here. Yeah. The apple and vanilla are coming through really well, even though this is a higher rye. Very, very good. I like to say I don't have a bad bourbon on the shelf. I have bourbons I favor more than others up there. This is definitely not in my top 3 from my shelf for sure. But it is a solid bourbon, and it's a good day sipper here, you know, any day of the week. Yeah, okay, I'm starting to get a little more caramelly, you know, vanilla off the nose now that I've had it on my tongue and washed it around. Let's do it again. That rye is definitely coming through. It gives you, I won't say bitter. I mean, it gives you a tinge of the bitter, but there's enough sweetness in there to offset it for sure. This is a well-developed bourbon. It's not extremely complex. You know, there's some up there that are far more complex than this. I wouldn't call it few noted, but it's not overwhelming the palate for sure. There's some very distinctive notes coming out. I'm not getting a lot on the sides of my tongue. It's mostly down the middle, but let me go ahead and wash it around a little bit more. And it's surprising because I'm not getting a great tongue coating, but it's coating the glass really well. Yeah, I even forced it over to the sides. It's just not clinging there for me. Getting a good warmth, not really a tickle, but I'm getting a good long finish on it, but it's more of a warm finish than a flavorful finish. Not really getting a lot on the back end. Now, I'm not dogging this bourbon. You know, the word smooth comes up. Yeah, it's smooth. It is a little rougher than some, I think, but good, you know, campfire bourbon or whatever. I don't know if I would smoke a cigar with this. I think if you were just wanting to get the alcohol while you're smoking a cigar, I think a cigar would really hide this. I think it would hide it to a point where you would just be getting that sweet, just right straight down the middle of the tongue, and that's about it. But not a bad bourbon. Not a bad bourbon at all. Like I said, they make good bourbons there. But it is really tame. It's a tame bourbon. As far as it being 100 proof, I think if I would have tasted this and didn't know what it was, I would have guessed it more down around 90. Maybe, you know, around the 40 to 45% range instead of 50% on this. I don't, it's not drinking to its alcohol content at all, which some people prefer. And that's fine, but I'm certainly not getting nearly the notes out of this as I do out of some of the more similarly priced and maybe a little more than this bourbon. But hey, it is really good. And good to juxtapose. I wouldn't, if someone said, hey, give me a Four Roses On ice, I would say you don't like the flavor of whiskey because you're not going to taste anything after a little bit, hardly at all. I think this is the way to drink it right out of the snifter. But if someone wanted to mix an old fashioned or something, yeah, sure, go ahead. I think it has enough rye to stand up to that old fashioned. I don't really drink them. I don't mix anything with my bourbon. But that's just me. But like I said, we don't judge. You do what you want. You do you. If you put and Coke in it, I would be like, well, you might want to back off that just a little bit, but because you're really hiding the flavor then. But no judging from here. But like I said, I'm enjoying this. It's fun to drink. But really, it's not one that I would sit around dissecting, getting into the deep, crevices of it, because I'm just, once I hit those few notes on it, it's pretty done for me. And maybe there's some very subtle backup notes in there. But certainly an easy sipper. And I'm getting the caramels along, and the rye is, to me, really, I said I knew the content of it. I don't know if I would have guessed the rye content as high as I know it to be. I think it's around, it's above 30%. Corn, I believe in this one is around 60. I'm just going off of memory here, but I believe it's like 60 and 35 or something like that with the mash bill. But that's just, like I said, that's not from my nose or tongue. That is from my previous knowledge of just knowing the bourbon. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and cut this off, and I'm going to enjoy these snifters, pour them together here, and because you didn't touch yours. But again, I'll put these snifters down here. If you're late to the party, VR180, if you have the visor on, I want you to have the full experience of me setting the glass down. You can look down at it. If you're on your phone, you can tilt your phone down and look at it. If you're on a computer, you can drag the screen and see the glass there and come back and look at me. So full VR180 experience. But with that, I'm going to wrap it up. And as always, please like and subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. And I promise I will keep bringing you these videos.